Okay, to graph this one, we need a few points on the graph between negative 10 and 10. So let's start with negative 10. Then let's go to negative 5. Then let's go to 1. Let's go to 0, negative 1, 5, and 10. There's a scattering of points along the way. So to begin with, the first one is going to be 1 minus the fifth root of 2 times negative 10 to the third, which is equal to 1 minus the fifth root of 2 times negative 1,000. And the negative can come out of the root, making that a positive, because it's an odd root. And so this is 2,000 in here. We could simplify that further, but we need a numeric approximation to this. So this is 1 plus 2,000 to the 1/5 power. And let's see, 2,000 to the 1/5 power is about 4.573, and if I add 1 to that, this is about 5.57 approximately. So that's our first entry. We've got a few more to go. Let's try negative 5 next. So it'll be kind of similar to this. So maybe I'll even leave some of it here. So negative 5 we plug in. And negative 5 to the third power is negative 125. Now we can make this a plus because the negative can come out. The fifth root of 2 times 125 is, of course, 250. So this is 1 plus 250 to the 1/5 power. So let's see, 250 to the 1/5 power is 3.017. If I add 1 to that, I get that this is approximately equal to 4.02. We have our second entry. Okay, now for the third one, we plug in a 1 here. So if there's a 1 here, x equals 1, then this is just 1 minus the fifth root of 2, which is 1 minus 2 to the 1/5 power. So 2 to the 1/5 power is 1.148, and if I subtract that from 1, I get negative 0.15 approximately. Okay, now plugging in a 0 next for x, that's particularly simple because it just equals 1, because the whole radical is 0. Now plugging in a negative 1 for x, we get 1 minus the fifth root of negative 2, which is 1 plus the fifth root of 2. So the fifth root of 2 is 1.14869 about. Add 1 to that. So this is about approximately equal to 2.15. We're almost there in terms of the points we need. Plugging in now a 5, x equals 5, we end up with 2 times 125, which is 5 to the third power, and that's 250. So it's 1 minus the fifth root of 250. That's 1 minus 250 to the 1/5 power. So 250 to the 1/5 power is 3.017. If we subtract that from 1, we get negative 2.02 approximately. Finally, one last value. Plugging in x equals 10. We end up with 10 to the third power is 1,000. 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. So this equals 1 minus 2,000 to the 1/5 power. 2,000 to the 1/5 power is 4.573. Subtract that from 1, and we get negative 3.57 approximately. Okay, now we have a bunch of data points. We should be able to graph this thing. So let's do it. So here's my axes, x and y axes. We're going all the way to negative 10, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. A smaller. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in the negative direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in the vertical, we go up to a little over 5 and down, down to negative 4 about. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's 6, and negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Okay, so let's plot these points. Negative 10, you go up to 5.75, which is a little bit between 5 and 6 here. So there's our first point. Then the next point is at negative 5. And at negative 5, we go up to 4.02, just about a height of 4. We end up at this point. Then at 1, we go, let's see, at negative 1, we go to 2.15. There's 2. So 2.15 is about here. At 0, we have 1. At 1, we go down to negative 0.15. That's just a little tiny bit below the x-axis here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At 5, this goes to negative 2.2, so that's negative 1, negative 2, right around here. Finally, the last point, this goes down to 3.57, which is kind of between 3 and 4. So there are the points. So let's graph this thing. So the graph looks like it's coming like this. And then it starts slowly turning back this way. So there's the graph of this function over the interval from negative 10 to 10.